Hi, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me here in the living room in Denver, Colorado today. Before we start our Saturday strolling around the grow space here, I wanted to mention that my sponsor, the Orchid Supply Store, the owner Ken, is doing a giveaway every week this month of May. It started yesterday. I'll post a link to the video in the description so you can go check it out. The giveaway is, he is going to give away an orchid a week. I believe they're Phalaenopsis, but go check it out and let him know I sent you. So with that, we'll just start here since we're on this shelf. Back here we have the Red Fantasy that I got from Nicole Deanna back in July of 2021. She hasn't rebloomed for me yet, but she's put on lots and lots of growth. She's got growth right there. She's got 2 in the back. I believe there's a total of 4. There's 3 in the back, and then we have that one there. Mama Sherry Baby over here in the corner has begun working on her bulb down here, and then the other new growth that she has, where is her other new growth? Oh my goodness, oh, it's right back here. This one here is just starting to swell at the base. And the Angraecum is continuing to grow her leaf. And we have active root tips growing. There's none growing from the base yet, but that's okay. She's got active root tips. And then this one here is the Miltassia that I got from a surprise back in October of last year, I believe. Yes, of 2022 from Carter and Holmes. Has finally started a new growth down there. I'm really excited about that. And you will notice some of these need water, some of these have water, so I've just been sporadically with the fertilizer that I currently was using. Certain orchids were getting that. My Spectabile here is working on that growth that she came with, doing really, really well. And then this Oncidium Twinkle that I got from Yoshi at Orchids by the Lake, the Oncidium Pink Profusion, is actually a variegated. Look at that. I'm hoping that with age, the variegation shows a little bit more. So I do have her under this Barina light to give her that additional lighting to kind of bring that variegation out. Over here we have, nope, I am so sorry. This is the No ID Oncidium that I got from Trader Joe's back in May of 2022 last year. And she is just exploding with growth. I repotted her, but I feel like I might have to repot her again. This growth right here is finishing off. So far, the 2-3 growths that she's matured since I've gotten her have bloomed, so I don't see why these won't bloom. She is super dry, needs some water. My Catlatonia Why Not here was struggling for a little bit, but she's finally coming into her own. She's growing some roots. And she does have a little bit of swelling. Let's see if I can turn it. There we go. So it looks like she's about to start her new growth right there. And then, of course, the Potnera Dick Smith. I look at this every day. It was a freebie I got from Jewel Orchids back in 21. But that growth, that growth right there is the one that she's finishing off. And she does have a little swelling, looks like, where she'll have a second direction of growth. She is in all lava rock, so she gets watered probably every other day, every 3 days, just depending. Here we have the purple, it's something purple, let's see. The mini purple variation Karula, and she is starting her new little growth right here. And she's put out some roots, so hopefully all of this desiccation will pick itself up. This right here was her latest growth that she had. And then my weird orchid here that had this weird growth last year, just kind of, I'm not sure what happened, but the latest growth is coming in fairly normal. And I know she's a little dehydrated, but she does have lots of roots in the pot. She just needs some water. I'm having some issues with my hands, and well, with that, I don't water as often. Up here, we have the Yellow King that I've recently repotted into another pot because she was outgrowing. Now this one, of course, was watered. It looks like too big of a pot, but let's imagine we're at the bottom of the plastic pot. She has large bark to about right here. So the pot is only about that big. And then some of the media did kind of fall in between the large bark, but there's large bark to almost halfway up. I didn't have the right size pot, so to make it the right size depth, I just added large bark at the bottom. Princess Scary back here is just loving life on this shelf. That new growth is just coming right on up. And then my pink antelope dendrobium is working on that new growth right there. And let's see, this one is, I'll zoom in on it so you can see, is the Oncidium Snowbird Sweet Spots. Beautiful, beautiful white blooms with spotting on there, thus the name. She's recently been repotted because she has this lovely, well, I guess I could focus on it, lovely new growth right here that has a few roots on it, so she should be filling up her pot. Back here we have the Isabella. Let's see. It's a Bolera Isabella Lunar Eclipse. Again, beautiful white flowers with, I believe, some spotting on it. If I can find the pictures to these, I'll post them as well. But she has two growths coming out back there. And I'm hoping that eventually they straighten themselves out. We have the Hibiki that I got from Brookside. Lots and lots of new growth on her. Look at these juicy leaves. So much bigger than the growth she came with. And then, of course, my Encyclia right here. See if we can get it to focus, focus, focus. The Bractensens crossed with nursery rhyme. You know, the blooms, guys, are beautiful, but I think I like these onion-shaped bulbs much better. I don't know. What about you? And while we're on this shelf, let's just go down here to the bottom. Sorry if I made you a little woozy, but this is my Roy Takanagua Dendrobium, Latoria type. And I don't see any new growths on her, or him, however you want to say it. With dendrobiums, I tend to say him. But it does have, where are they? Nice roots coming in. So maybe in the next few weeks, he will decide to bless us with some new growth. We have the Royal Chip, again, from Yoshi at Orchids by the Lake. And as beautiful as, let me zoom in just a little bit. As beautiful as this is, and I do love the top of the flower, I like looking at them from above. I just find them a little more interesting. Am I crazy? Probably. Most people would prefer to see this. But this one just shoots out new growth, and I don't even notice it. So looking at it earlier today, and we have new growths growing in there. Then we have the snowflake, the mini snowflake that recently I repotted. I will post the video for that. But look how much this growth has made it. I didn't even have to strap it for that long. And then we do have another new growth. That's exciting. My Oncidium Twinkle here, the Fragrance Fantasy, lots and lots and lots of new growth going in. And then the White Showers, also a twinkle. I really thought I had lost this one, but she's finishing off that new growth there to the left. And then as you can see, the one right here by my thumb is starting to swell her pseudobulb. The Chocolate Chip, this spike is starting to go over, but these right here are going pretty strong. And she's got a little dried spike here, and she had another one on this one and this one when I purchased her. Back here, I got this from the Orchid Supply Store. It is a Latoria type as well. It's the Silver Wings crossed with Pink Latoriette. And this new growth back here, let's see, this one right here right here is almost finished growing. My Miltoniopsis that I got from not Orchid Supply Store, sorry guys, from Trader Joe's back in May. Pseudobulbs are fine, but it's not doing anything. It's just sitting there pouting, and as long as it doesn't decline, it can stay there. Now this is the Nobly that I bought, again, at Nick's Nursery, my local nursery center here has a new growth right there, and then it looks like she is making a keiki here, but this new growth that she came with is coming along nicely, so I will be repotting her fairly soon, because this media is just, every time I water it, I smell it, and it's like, ugh, don't like that at all. Over here, since we're here, Latoria, just talking about Latorias, and this is the Lodorio, which is the Sweet Memory, working on her little spike there. Bloom should be coming out in a few weeks. Excited about that. And then this is my flamethrower. That's what this is called. And she is working on a pup. Now, in my experience, once this bloom dies off, the mother plant will continue to die away as the new pup continues to grow. And then look at this, guys. My Sonochi's Wine Delight is in growth. I gave her her first watering today. I didn't soak her down. I just gave her enough to wet the moss that's in there, so it's just all moss. And then over here, the Paphiopedilum Hongxing Red Apple is doing well. My Renee Marquise, this new growth is doing really well. And look at all the roots in here. Just take her out. Look at this. Lovely. Just lovely. I had her in a clay pot, and I wasn't able to keep up with the watering in leaving her in that clay pot, so I did just basically just potted her from one to the other using the same media. Mel Hell is still in beautiful bloom here, and working on all those lovely growths. Now this one here, my Spring Pleasure, after the Care Collab, I was like, what is going on with her? Because she just didn't look right. This one, there's no roots in here. She had one little nubbin root and a couple of little more nubbins, so she might not make it. And then, of course, Schilleriana here is doing well. I think I see a new leaf coming in, but we'll have to wait and see. This is the Tolumnia, which one is the Spotty, that I got from Yoshi at Orchids by the Lake recently. I'll post the unboxing of that. And if we look really closely down in there, we can see some roots coming. So that's good. Had a decent root system in there. The Phalaenopsis cornicervi variation Chateladay is growing that lovely leaf there, finishing that off. She's got lots of roots on the outside, but she also has roots on the inside. So not too stressed about that at the moment. Let me fix my little ladies here. There we go. So she's not crushed in there. And what else do we have on this table? We have the Japonica, who is working on her leaf. And this is kind of what happens when you don't light train correctly. I didn't set her back right, and that leaf, as you can see, kind of started twisting, so I had to correct that. My Miltoniopsis Lila Ferniho, I don't know how to say that. Let me just zoom in on the name so you can see. But I got that from Nicole Deanna back in July of 21. And for the longest, it did what the other Miltoniopsis is doing. It just sat there. But this is all that's left of her. She was in a Leca self-watering setup. Now she's in all moss in this clay pot. But this one here, I do every other day or so, just sprinkle a little bit of water to keep that moss damp. The Paphiopedilum, Shinyi Heart, I repotted while she was in bloom. Now the bloom, when I repotted her, was only a couple of weeks old. And as you can see, she still has her bloom, and it does not look like it's going over. Let's see if I can get a better angle on her. But she's just gorgeous. My Vanda Pascherette that I got from the Orchid Supply Store, this is what she looked like when I got her. Now she is growing roots and stuff in the pot, but she hasn't started any leaf growth. So kind of interesting to see what she's going to look like. And then this one is Peaches that I cut the spike on about 2 months ago. And do you see another spike coming? And leaf growth. and she's growing roots. So she's just like, I'm just going to overachieve this year. But I am going to cut that spike off once the buds separate from it so that she can get more than one leaf this year. And we have this one here. I just recently cut the spike off of her. And then we have Yin Yang. Again, just cut the spike off of her, not doing much. And then this is what I was talking about. So do you see how, let me zoom in a little bit. Do you see how the buds are now separated from the spike? Well, I am going to cut the spike off of this one here. It's a new idea. I call her Velvet, because I want her to concentrate on growing more than one leaf this year. So in order to do that, I need to take that energy away from her. While we're here, let's just look. Here we go. And the Orange Kiss has decided to go ahead and open up some more blooms. Look at this. I just love those. So gorgeous. And what else do we have down here? We have this one. This is the Oncidium Celtic Sun Mayo, or Mayo. Recently repotted because this lovely growth here is going to be putting out some new roots for her soon. And then we have the Wilsonera, very delicious, that was threatened to go into the bin if she didn't do something. And look at that new growth. Just taking right on off. And it looks like she might start swelling that bulb. Again, she needs watering today. No ID on Oncidium. I do not remember what she looks like. I've had her since 2019. She has been through quite a bit. She is in a moss and bark setup in here and not doing too bad, but I can see some of this constituting on some of the new growth, which is stunting their growth. So I really need to pay more attention to that and probably take her out of this clay pot. And then we have Zygo Pedalum Murasaki here. Murasaki Kamachi. That I am going to have to repot because this is the latest growth right here. And if she puts out another growth to the left, she's not going to have any room. And then on this side, this is the latest growth, again, right on the edge of the pot. So I'm going to have to take it out. It's actually, she ended up breaking into two pieces. So it is actually two pieces in there. So I am going to have to take her apart and see what happens with that. We have the two K-Lite Experiment phals sitting over here, doing pretty good. I'll post a quick update video on them later this week. And then look at my new lady. This is, of course, a Schilleriana, and I got it from Norman's Orchids. So she is looking lovely. I did add a little bit of bark to the top layer because some of it had come out, but look at her. And she is blooming size. She's got two old spikes, and then they recently cut off a spike right there to the right. So at least I know she is blooming size, so now I need to get her to bloom next year. Over here we have the Mutu King. Look at her. Oh, just gorgeous. Let me show you the roots in this thing. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at all those active root tips growing in there. Now this isn't just small bark and perlite, which you can get from the Orchid Supply Store along with these pots if you like these pots. They also have slotted pots. They've got bark, they've got anything you need, and of course orchids. If you decide to purchase, go ahead and use coupon code TRISH at checkout and get 12% off. And then here, under the table here in front of the east-facing window, I have a couple of my mini phals. So this is the Young's Home, and then it has a number. It's a pink one. So since I've gotten her, she has put on this leaf, this leaf, this leaf, and is working on a leaf. I have the Jiho's Pink Girl, which I got at Lowe's. She came in bloom. All three of these came in bloom. I bought them all at the same time. But since I've gotten her, she's grown this leaf, and now it's working on this one. And then this is another Young's Home pink one, and has grown this leaf, and is working on this leaf. And these girls definitely need water. Down here, whoops, almost fell, is the Hyacinth Venus, which I got from Brookside Orchids. And she came with a double bloom, beautiful orchid. Grown this leaf here and is finishing this one here. And this one is basically, this one is our work orchid, and I brought it home during the winter, and she grew a really tiny leaf. You can see it down there. Then she grew this other little leaf, a little bigger. Now she's growing that one there. So until I really know that she's recovered, I'm not taking her back to work, because she'll only be seen twice a week. So I want to keep an eye, make sure she's strong and healthy. And then this is another project orchid that I bought in September of 2022. She's been in this pot since October, but I'm thinking, guys, we may have to put her into another pot, because look how the roots are starting to take over. But I'm going to leave her in here as long as I can. So this leaf right here is the one that she had that started when we first got her, and now she's growing this one. So she's not skipped a beat. I'm waiting for hopefully a spike on her this coming fall. Oh, and you know what? Let's look over here. Let's look at the pretty first. So this is my Maxillera tenuifolia. It's the red one that was sent to me by Justin's Orchids. And she does have lovely roots in there. So she's in, there's bark at the bottom for drainage. She's got a little moss, and then I've got some pumice on the top. But look at these two new growths. Oh, look at that. Just gorgeous. And then my terrarium. So a lot of people initially were upset because I didn't put any rocks or anything at the bottom and just put the soil there. But that one there is finally growing a nice new leaf. I've got a little offshoot back there, and then this one here finished the one leaf and is working on another. And the Hariella retrocala I put in there is put on those put on 3 leaves. And I had my variegata right there where you see that moss, but she was already too far gone. I just put her in there as a last attempt. So she's with the orchid fairies now. And look at my poor bulbophyllum. When I got this, it was so nice and full and pretty. And of course, I added it to my bucket or my basket when I ordered, just to justify the shipping. And this is all I have left. Currently, he is in the bonsai grit mix that has like some of the ceramics in it. And I don't know what to do with it. Please help me. Leave your comments down below. And what else do we have? Let's see. Let's talk about the mounts. Look at her. This is the Hawaiian treat. I love how these roots are just growing out. She's got all kinds of new growth, maturing and growing and starting. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that she blooms for me this year, now that I've added this Barina light to make it a lot brighter over here. Because I think that's what's missing, because I've read, and correct me if I'm wrong, but monofoliates need way more light to bloom than bifoliates. And she's kind of a bifoliate and monofoliate, but she does more monofoliate than she does bifoliate. Then over here, I've got my little stars, Brassivola little stars. Lots of new growth coming out on her with lovely roots. And then we have the Tolumnia Girac Brown, I believe. Super Brown. Girac Firm Super Brown. That has a new fan coming right here. But I think that one's finished because there's another one starting there. She grew this one over the winter, and now she's got this one right here coming. And then my 3 Phalaenopsis, my soft clouds, are doing their thing. They all 3 bloomed for me this year. And I am looking at the time, so we will stop here and then we will look at the rest of them next Saturday. But don't forget to go check out Ken's video and find out about that giveaway. Find out what you need to do to enter and possibly win. Again, the orchidsupplystore.com, 12% off with coupon code TRISH, and I'll see you guys next time.